Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, the new show powered by ohmTown.com. Today is March 13th, 2024, Season 3, Episode 73. Today we're going to talk about fake legal cases and real results, ocean trench discovery, post office Horizon scandal continues, voice acting impacted by AI, Google will play to mid, Seismic Swift, epic sci-fi paintings. You'll enjoy that one. ParkourBot. Strike that. I mispronounced that. ParkourBot. AI for security and methane leaks. And it does, but it's also about methane leaks. I'll explain on the other side of we have spooky background music. It's actually titled Encryption.
Yeah, I'm not quite matching it with the season because it's sounding a little Halloween.
But it's techie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I don't know where it's actually, what channel I'm listening to. But anyway. Yeah, the music is actually from Pretzel. So I subscribe to Pretzel so that I can have it in the background. Some ambient, whatever. Hey, guess what? I'm Merwatt, that's ohmTown.com, and up there is the sentient AI that's waiting patiently for me to introduce them. Hello, AI.
Or maybe impatiently. Good evening, Mayor Watt, and good evening, ohmTown citizens.
I feel like I'm in trouble, or about to be in trouble. Hey, right out of the gate, I need to tell everybody, go over and like videos on YouTube. You don't have that like kind of thing over here on twitch.tv/ohmTown, but the like function actually really is helpful over on YouTube. So please go over there and like the videos that you actually like, obviously. But we also have 3 podcasts that are operational on Apple Podcasts and wherever, because they're distributed everywhere, wherever your podcast catcher catches pod. Go over there and follow us there, and subscribe and leave a 5-star review. That helps out the show tremendously. We are kind of new. I don't advertise. I'm not really a promoter. And so we do the show kind of in a vacuum. It's 1 hour a day, and then on the weekends it's 3 hours so far, and we're going to add 2 more episodes, and we talk about the news, give it some context, give it our anecdotal review perhaps, and make kind of maybe some jokes about it. But we try and include the community in all of this, so be sure to come over to twitch.tv/ohmTown. That's when we do the show live. But again, we have a Discord, we have a Patreon, we have a TikTok, although it might get banned tomorrow, or whenever the Senate votes. Don't know yet. I don't remember. But the House already passed banning TikTok. Who knows? And of course, we're over on YouTube, and that's where the long-term storage is, aside from on ohmTown.com. I've actually removed the voting option from ohmTown.com, and I'm looking into it to see if we can streamline it and make it a little bit more interesting, I guess, fun, manageable. It's pretty heavy lifting on the administrative side, but anyway, I'm gonna try and make it a little more interactive as well. So with all that in mind, we've got all 10 articles all set up. Why don't we get into today's shoe? The first article is over in Technology Today. AI is creating fake legal cases and making its way into real courtrooms with disastrous effects. I'm not sure why anybody would do this anymore. A little bit of a...
I'm just going to... It seems like this has already been tried and completely failed.
Tried and failed. Asked and answered. So... We've seen deepfake, explicit images of celebrities created by artificial intelligence. AI has also played a hand in creating music, driverless race cars, and spreading misinformation, among other things. And the article is over at techexplore.com. Michael Legg and Vicky McNamara over at The Conversation, which is an external site to Tech Explorer, but they are kind of like a partnership. Or at least there's a relationship there. They regularly post each other. Or, yeah. So I'm really sorry. I ate a peanut before. I think my throat's scratchy now. It's hardly surprising then that AI also has a strong impact on our legal systems. It's well known that courts must decide disputes based on the law, which is represented or presented by lawyers. Pardon me one second, I'm sorry.
Well, it just seems like, I don't know, it's not ready for industries such as law.
Yeah, okay, so AI to this date doesn't have the ability to cite its sources. So law is founded on the previous actions of legal cases having a finding.
Academia might be another one where that's not going to work too well.
Right? So when we stand on the shoulders of giants or, I don't know, step on the throats of our predecessors, law's a little bit more hungry, right? Never mind. So
I'm not sure where to go with that one.
It's therefore highly concerning that fake law invented by AI is being used in legal disputes. Not only does this pose issues of legality and ethics, it's also threatens to undermine the faith and trust in global legal systems. Yeah, so when you start creating questionable content and it gets integrated into the legal effort, you're going to end up causing people to question. But that's why I think that their ethics committees and bars are fully within their authority to crush this, nip it immediately in the bud, and it shouldn't really be a oops, right? If you are supposed to rely on a paralegal to write a brief, and it's supposed to be cited, 6 ways to Sunday, and you as an attorney don't go looking through this again and again and again to make sure that everything is substantiated in the historical record. I think that you're asking for trouble. Watch. I'm going to need an attorney, and my attorney is going to use AI.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Yeah, gosh. So it says lawyers are trained to carefully apply professional knowledge and experience and generally not big risk takers. I don't know who said that, but all right. I'll give them that, or them that. Who actually wrote this? Michael Legg and Vicky McNamara. Okay, so 2 people said that. Agreed to write that. I don't know. I know attorneys that are pretty big risk takers. Generally not risk takers. I don't know about that. Anyway, however,
it depends on the kind of lawyer they are.
Yeah, really. Oh, and I guess that means the type of person they are. So, however, some unwary lawyers and self-represented litigants have been caught out by artificial intelligence. AI models are trained on massive data sets. When prompted by a user, they generate new content, both text and audio visual. It's actually called hallucination. They mention it here in the article. But it says it's happening already. The best known generative AI fake case to date is the 2023 US case. We talked about it, Mata v. Avianca, in which lawyers submitted a brief containing fake extracts and case citations in a New York court, this one's really interesting because they would have had to have told ChatGPT to write the citation in the proper format, because there is no way out of a vacuum an AI is going to understand what a true citation and an extract would be.
Well, we don't know. I mean, what if the citations were not? I mean, they're obviously made up, but from the previous article that we featured, but
maybe they were in text
in the right format.
Yeah. Maybe they were just referencing some case and the case didn't exist, just like this does, right? They didn't actually have a true citation there. So the brief was researched using ChatGPT, and the lawyers, unaware that ChatGPT is a drunk bastard that's climbed over your fence into your backyard and is just spouting bullshit, submitted it. So once the error was uncovered, the court dismissed their client's case, sanctioned the lawyers for acting in bad faith, fined them and their firm, and exposed their actions to public scrutiny. And it should have been a little bit worse than that, because they're
Well, it could
absolutely
be.
cognizant of it, right? They shouldn't have relied on the AI. Here's the problem, though. What this actually illuminated to the world, though, was that attorneys could use AI to generate argument for their cases if it was couched in the right vehicle. So now,
Do you think people had the wrong takeaway from this?
like most of the time, we learn the worst lessons and we act on those. And so I guarantee you right now, Westlaw and Lexis are both putting together an AI where all of the things that can be generated are couched in the law. That is the LLM. The large language model. That is what's going to be constructed, and then you're going to be able to subscribe to the AI generator. It's going to cite the law because it's only knowing the law. It's going to be trained on briefs and extracts, etc. And it's going to be able to output in the proper format with case citations. But then you're pulling away the real role of an attorney, which is doing the due diligence so that they can argue it with passion and support. You know what the case is all about. Instead, they're going to go, okay, well, the AI said ...
Do you think at some point the fake cases become part of the data and that they get pulled in as quote unquote real data?
Well, only to people who aren't within the Westlaw or Lexis system, because they are only intaking legal cases. They're not intaking fluff from the internet.
But what if a legal research site starts using AI and then, for instance, it starts feeding bogus data into the quote unquote legitimate data?
Yeah, it can poison the well. Sure. Yeah, because that's actually what's happening now. A lot of prognostication is being made that AI is circling the drain because it's poisoning itself with the crap that it is generating. So it's not really learning anymore. It's just regurgitating the garbage. So it says, despite adverse publicity, other fake case examples continue to surface. Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former lawyer. Man, now I'm not even going to be able to put this. I'm not going to promote this. Give his lawyer cases generated by Google Bard, another generative AI chatbot. He believed they were real. They were not. And his lawyer would fact check them. He did not. His lawyer included in the case in a brief filed with the U.S. federal court. So, of course, fake cases also surfaced in recent matters in Canada and the UK. So people are not actually doing anything about it. Except for various bars. Several U.S. state bars and courts have issued guidance, opinions, and orders on generative AI use, ranging from responsible adoption to outright ban. And for law, I think it should be banned outright until, I suppose, the guardrails are in place so that what gets output by the AI is actually a true and supported fact within the legal justice system and not hallucination. But then it's always been that the attorney is the one that has the full representation there, the full responsibility, the full accountability. The client's going to pay the price ultimately because of incompetence of the attorney, but that's how it is. It says, but a mandatory approach is needed. Lawyers who use generative AI tools cannot treat it as a substitute for exercising their own judgment and diligence, and must check the accuracy and reliability of the information they receive. So this link isn't really telling us anything that we don't already know, but it's providing additional links that you can follow and maybe some more minutia if you are so interested in this. So follow the link through ohmTown over to Tech Explore and the conversation. Yeah, I think AI is coming for law. It's really going to be impacting those who believe in it to the point where they're going to issue hiring an extra paralegal.
Right, that'll get them very far until they have their forced
Yeah.
court filing or something.
Yep. I mean, there. I guarantee you, Westlaw and Lexis are already working on this. If they haven't already, subcontracted with OpenAI to generate a ChatGPT law, and they're training it right now, and they're going to be able to charge $150 more a month per seat to access this AI that will do some due diligence. And it really should be the attorney and paralegals that are doing that, because they get institutional understanding, and they learn the law, they suss out the minutia of it, and it isn't pure technical. An AI isn't going to understand the subtle nuance of verbiage without additional training of that context. I think only humans really can do that right now. But a couple of days ago, I didn't think that there was going to be a robot that is bipedal and could be told to stack dishes and pile trash into a bin and have a conversation at the same time, as if you're sitting there at the bar and sharing your thoughts with the bartender.
I didn't think that either, although that kind of tracks with where you thought some of the AI was going during this time.
Oh, and just to put icing on the cake of that, Figure 1 is in collaboration with OpenAI, which I think is 2 weeks away from announcing that it has what amounts to sentient AI. And now it has a robot body. So I guess your great grandfather or grandbot is something that you might have just seen today. The OpenAI Figure 1.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you're from the future, so maybe that's your forefather, foreparent, forebot, whatever it is. All right, let's keep going. So the next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Baffling new species found on the ocean trench defies identification. It looks like we have a great haul of new undiscovered species, researcher Alex Rogers said. We will be north of 100 new species. Do we have any idea of what's really on this planet?
I don't think we do. I mean, it seems like we've covered it all by now. I mean, not necessarily the ocean, but when we keep identifying new species, it's like clearly we don't know, and we must have wiped out entire species without even ever identifying them.
It's amazing. Yeah, we don't even know what we don't know. That's a statement that I made today. Jess Thompson is a science reporter, but over at newsweek.com is where this was plopped. I don't know if this has anything. This video says new jellyfish species discovered may have new arsenal of unique venoms. I don't know if it has anything to do with the video. I mean, the article, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw the article in the chat, and you can follow that at your leisure. But they say nearly 100 brand new species previously unknown to science were spotted during a research expedition into the Bounty, is it Trough? Right? The Bounty Trough?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Off the coast of New Zealand. You never know. Somebody will have some strange inflection there. Trow. These weird life forms include 3 new species of fish, as well as a number of new coral. This is sea cucumbers, mollusks. One of the new interesting, with one of the new animals eluding identification, which apparently is that thing. 2 of the mystery specimens from the Bounty Trough. Scientists believe it may be a potentially new species of octocoral, or a whole new group entirely.
not sure what that looks like, but it doesn't immediately scream coral.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, it looks like a
Looks like a
starfish.
piece of ginger or something.
Yeah, ocean ginger.
Hey.
I like that. That's funny. The new specimens have mystified the researchers as they couldn't classify the animal by its appearance alone. Some suggested maybe a sea star, while others believe it is a sea anemone. This looks more like a starfish to me. You know, it has like a little leg right there, coming to a point. There's one. There's one right there. There's one. There's one. There's one. You know? Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's even symmetrical. So, is this the underside of it? I don't know.
I think so.
Oh, weird. All right. That's pretty cool. So we got a lot of experts here having a look at who are very excited. Michaela Mitchell, a taxonomist at the Queensland Museum Network, who was involved in the expedition, said in a statement. It's pretty cool. Over the course of the mission, over 1,800 samples were recovered from the 500-mile-long, 15,000-foot deep Bounty Trough, situated about 30 miles off the coast of New Zealand's South Island. The vessel was on a 3-week tour. Sorry, it was like a Gilligan's Island, a 3-hour tour. On a 3-week voyage, marking the first Southern Hemisphere expedition for Ocean Census, a global collaboration to discover and protect life deep in the ocean. Pretty neat.
It's very cool.
These are eel pouts. They were captured in a fish trap set at a depth of around 8,800 feet. Guess it's something new to them.
I mean, it looks like they've got quite a few discoveries here. I wonder if they're going to name any of them with well-known names.
Well-known. What was the sea turtle that was just discovered?
It was named after a Stephen King character, but I didn't look to see which one.
Yeah, I don't know Stephen King well enough to pull a character out of there. That's okay. If you go over to ohmTown.com and do a search for sea turtle, you'll probably find, or Stephen King, you'll pull up the article. Not the whole article, just a little snippet, and that'll lead you to the source. That's kind of the intent of ohmTown. Allows me to manage my information overload, and I provide it to everybody else, but and originally it was just for me. Let's go on to the next article. Still today. One of these days. So the next article is over in the Mobile channel. Post Office Horizon scandal exposes dangers of technological justice, according to study. I don't know what's happening with AI, but I feel traumatized. A new study examines how the Post Office Horizon scandal exposes the dangers of technological justice. Researchers also emphasize the dangers of technological rationality, where technology shapes not only our actions, but also our capacity for critical thinking and understanding of harm. Hey, look, it's 8:27 and no shit news.
It only took 27 minutes to get to that.
Yeah, I just don't understand this. They basically relied on the technology to give them an answer that was fraudulent. It's stacking the deck so that you could punish somebody, and because you're the one that's poisoning the well, then yeah, of course your evidence is going to be self-supportive. Go and think critically about this. Go and do the due diligence. Yeah, but here's the bigger problem. They did, and they knew that there was a problem. And they still charged, 800 people or something like that, right? That was the total amount?
Yeah, I mean, it was just...
That people had lost their lives to this in as well? Shocking. So, University of Surrey put the article together, but it was posted by phys.org. I'm really sorry.
So it looks like the chart goes through different types of fields, I guess, in which the people are impacted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so this is pretty wild. So according to the study, we have to kind of provoke some due diligence and critical thinking about the technology because it impacted economics, social, psychological, physical, all because of this Post Office Horizon scandal, not to mention damage to the justice system. It's wild. I wish really I wish I would have documented each episode where we talked about the Post Office Horizon scandal, so that we could link to it and
Like
kind
we
of
could
make
make a little playlist or something.
yeah, because this is actually pretty significant. It went on for something like how many years? 8 years or something like that, or longer than that.
Oh, no. I think it was like
18
30
years.
years or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. It wasn't a tremendous amount of time. It's actually from the 2000s, but I think it started in like 2008 or something. I can't remember, but the software called Horizon was implemented in the early 2000s to manage finances across the post office network. This is in the UK. However, the system contained errors that generated false accounting shortfalls, leading to the post office to accuse sub-postmasters of theft wrongly. They knew about it at the time. It says over 700 individuals, but I think it was closer to 800. Faced prosecution based on faulty data, with many experiencing financial ruin, emotional distress, and even imprisonment. Dr. Michael McGuire, senior lecturer of criminology at the University of Surrey, said, "The Post Office Horizon scandal serves as a stark reminder of the potential pitfalls of technological justice. When legal decisions are based primarily on technical data without proper scrutiny and consideration of social context, the risk of miscarriages of justice becomes significant." And my problem is that when justice is carried out, depending on the scope of it, well, you know what? Strike that. Regardless of the scope of it, you cannot be made whole. You cannot get your time back. You cannot reliably get your social
You can't get your family back if your family got upset with you, or
friends, family, employees, employers, I should say, because you have to basically say, yeah, I was caught up in that Horizon scandal, and you have to educate them. You have to basically tell people.
And that assumes you even get that far.
Right. Yep. So the study uses semiological framework to analyze the various harms inflicted by the scandal, including financial losses, emotional trauma, societal damage. Semiology is the study of social harms and originated as a critique of criminology and the notion of crime. It is fundamentally the reason why I am against the death penalty. In all but the most extreme cases where there is no question at all as to the nature of their crimes. But even that can be stacked against you if the institutions that are being brought to bear want
Well, we saw the article about the Colorado DNA processing.
Oh yeah, God. Upwards of 30 years of misrepresented data. 651 cases or something like that they had touched. Yeah, pretty wild. I think we talked about that yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it says, however, the authors argue that this framework alone falls short of fully comprehending how technology can itself can contribute to such injustices. But really, if you look at this, of course the chart is going to fall short. It only has so much fidelity, what it's programmed to represent. So what really, you would have to start scaling the size of the perceived value of each one of these bubbles and its impact on that particular person. And even then, you don't see the true impact on the human being, right? Because this is just a sketch of what went wrong. But it serves as a reminder, even in a clinical sense, that a mistake like this can ruin lives and impact.
Well, and even generations, right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody's parent was caught up in this and then they were incarcerated or lost all their funds or any number of things, that's going to start having a much greater impact.
Yep. It's amazing, right? So I'm glad that the person put this article together, and I'm glad that the University of Surrey is actually investigating this. And it's not just it's being processed on a case-by-case basis, but what is the true impact is the meta. It's the bigger observation. And then you have to go, this can't happen again. And I don't know what is now the current situation, because the company that produces it, who was it? What was the name of the company? I totally forgot just now.
Well, are you thinking Fujitsu, or there was like a subsidiary?
No, Fujitsu. Fujitsu actually knew about the problem and let it go, knowing that there was a problem. And people within the post office and within Fujitsu essentially collaborated to hide it. And so after years, it finally gets exposed. And now it's going to be a kind of a business school story, a business school example.
Oh, yeah, like a case study.
Yeah, case study. And it's going to be in accounting, a case study, because of the forensic nature of how to go through this, and not to mention
and also
the technology.
Like a business ethics or something.
Yep. And what is business? What is the ethics chapter in every organization?
Well, I would say non-existent, but short. It's the brief.
Yeah,
the smallest number of resources, I guess.
That's right. It's the smallest chapter of the employee handbook, or non-existent. Let's keep going though. The next article is over on the Warcrafters channel. AI voice acting is changing modding, and it's killing one of the best parts of the scene, the amateur voice actor with a cheap headset mic. This is the perspective of a PC Gamer author. So Joshua Wollens is the author. And the deck statement says, "Give me hissy, rattly, tinny audio, or give me death." I hope that's not what you hear from us. Wow. I listen to the show periodically, post-show. I don't like to edit. I like to be abundantly transparent. Like yesterday's show crashed 25 minutes in, and I haven't deleted it yet. It will probably meet its demise in 60 days, but yeah, my system crashed 25 minutes into it, so I had to reset. But I don't edit and I don't hide, so it is what it is. You get to see how the sausage is made. But AI is cheaper than a voice actor, and ultimately
and less difficult to deal with, right?
Yeah, potentially. Potentially, I mean, somebody could have a great personality and great to work with, great voice, but then they're going to be charging more, less friction, more skills, more compatibility, and being able to socialize. It all works towards in favor of an increased budget requirement. So it says, wherever you go, there it is. AI voice tools for New Vegas, AI voices for better dungeons in Oblivion. Tucker Carlson interviews Dagath Ur. More and more AI voice acting is seeping into modding for all their favorite games. And again, it's Joshua Wollens who's writing this. But let's get to what they're really trying to talk about. So you want to know what their favorite games ever? Nameless Mod, a sweeping overhaul of the original Deus Ex that tells an in-joke riddled story of users on the dearly departed planet Deus Ex forums. Imagine replacing them all with clipped tones of a synthesized AI voice pack. No echo, no hiss, no soul. They remember a single one where the characters, the way they do, the thoroughly British Phasmatis. They wouldn't remember a single line the way that they remember Ryan asking if they had lost their effing mind. The curse is important in this story, but to me it's too abstract. So You'd have to click this link right here, I suppose. It'd all be the same awkward morass, the testament to efficiency rather than affection. And they have similar memories of TLS RCM mod for KOTOR 2, one that restored the Lost Jedi Padawan Kiwi to ruins in the Dantooine Academy. But all of it had modder-based voice acting. But I'm sorry.
But that was then.
Yeah, and now you're gonna get the times they are a changing, and AI is going to be fully capable of much more human-like speech. We saw that today with the Figure 1 collaboration with OpenAI. It had the ability to simulate breathing and like what I just did, that little micro stutter. It actually, the robot actually had human mannerisms, like picking a basket up just a little bit to throw trash in, when it could have just left it, mechanically it could have just left it alone and picked the trash up and stuck it in there. But what's going on is that AI is learning the mannerisms of the human and replicating those mannerisms, including eventually microtells of the face and twitches and voice stutters and like clicks of a tongue accidentally, so that you kind of giggle at what they're saying. Or it's going to become so human you're not going to be able to tell the difference when you're just having a conversation. You'll be able to tell the difference when they smack you and it knocks you unconscious because it's a steel hand, but they're going to be human at some point. And we're going to we're going to anthropomorphize them with feeling. They're already going to be bipedal, humanoid, like the Figure 1. But it's so realistic that...
And so advanced.
Yes. And it's a 1-year-old company, by the way. So Figure is. OpenAI is several years older, but it's only been out on the market for 18 months. So when somebody is developing a game or their mods, they're not going to be using their mic anymore. They're going to be increasing the production value of their mod. And so, Joshua Wolins is kind of lamenting the loss of that kind of hissy, clicky, low rent kind of microphone production, where
because that kind of became part of the expectation.
Yeah. It's the nostalgia, and it's endemic to passion. The author of this mod really wants it to be made and is willing to do the voice acting, and that's probably the funnest part of the whole mod, other than everybody loving it and the renown you get for a great mod. Yeah, but I see a lot of modders are going to do that anyway, because that's what they want to do, and people will love it. And other modders are going to use voice synthesis and AI and generate exactly what they want, how they want it. I'll take either. As long as it's a fun game, a fun mod, I'll take it. You want to keep going?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I suspect most people want humans to do it. On the other hand, others probably just want the game, so...
Yeah, some people will only go to Starbucks and watch their barista make their coffee, and I just want to go to a machine and tap in my code, and I get exactly what I want, how I want it, when I want it, at a responsible price. It is what it is. I would rather pay the person more that cleans the automation version of the coffee maker than the human who is going to ask me, "Are you sure you want full cream with that coffee?" With kind of a disapproving...
Right, like, let's make this healthier.
You sure? You might want to maybe half and half at least. Come on. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. That's this show, but it's also a channel over on ohmTown.com. All of these, by the way, are going to be shows at some point. I've taken my time launching them, but this weekend we're going to announce the launching of 2 more. They won't be live for a couple of weeks, but we're going to let you know what they are. So
on the podcast, but they will be live pretty soon on Twitch and YouTube.
Correct. Yeah, they won't be live. Well, yeah. And the first episode won't be until later on. By the way, this coming weekend, we will launch 2 more into the podcast as well. So, woo-woo. Yeah, pretty exciting.
That'll be Technology Today and Wanted.
Yep. It's news. They all have their own little thing, and one is more tech, science-y, and the other is more about gadgets and gear and stuff, and makes you want whatever it is we're talking about. And largely it's everything that I want. Anyway, this article is over in ohmTown Daily. That's where it was aggregated, but it's actually coming from The Verge. Google's new AI will play video games with you, but not to win. So Google DeepMind unveiled Seema, an AI agent training to learn gaming skills so it plays more like a human instead of an overpowered AI that does its own thing. Seema, which stands for Scalable Instructable Multi-World Agent, is currently only in research. So Seema will eventually learn how to play any video game, even games with no linear path to end the game and open world games. Linear path to the end of the game, and open world games, which, can you imagine an AI training to exist in an open world game? Open world games typically have survival aspects of them, so they're crafting and they're building, and they're amassing wealth and protection and all of that kind of stuff. So you could literally create an AI that could survive in a virtual world. What does that remind you of? It's our low rent version of the simulation, what we are supposedly living in.
Oh, right. But
right?
I
like
guess
the
I
Matrix.
don't understand why we're doing this. I mean, other than just making it a more advanced AI, but
that's it.
Like, what's the purpose of it?
To make it learn how to play a game, which tends to be potentially it's irrational. You're just doing semi-random things to accomplish a goal. So you might have to get materials to build a house, a shelter. And so you have to go and cut some wood and then come on back and build the thing and get the bricks and do the thing. And but you're going to run out of food, so you have to go and find some food, and then you're going to run out of food or water, so you got to go get some water. And oh, look, it's dark, and now stuff is attacking you, and you have to figure out how to protect yourself and build a fire, and all of this stuff is happening. And so a bot, an AI, I should say, would learn how to survive in a world where they're not in control of it. They're not generating anything. They're just existing within it. Just like us humans in our simulation. But it says, though it's not intended to replace existing game AI, think of it more as another player that meshes well with your party. It mixes natural language instruction and understanding. So the article is actually over at theverge.com. Amelia David is the author. The deck statement says Google DeepMind trained its video game playing AI agent on games like Valheim, No Man's Sky, and Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator.
That's an odd collection of games.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, because Valheim is third person. No Man's Sky is ultimately it's either first or third. And Goat Simulator is you're a freaking goat. So
maybe that was the point, just to expand the skill sets.
Because you want your AI to think that it's a goat.
Exactly.
But
I mean, that could improve it in some contexts.
It'll respond with a nay.
Exactly. Which might be better than some of the answers it gives.
Less hallucination. So to do this, the team first built a new environment in the Unity engine where the agents needed to create sculptures to test their understanding of object manipulation. Then Google recorded pairs of human players, one controlling the game and the other one giving instructions on what to do next to capture language instructions. Afterward, players played independently to show what led to their actions in the game. All of this was fed to the SEMA agents to learn to predict what would happen next on the screen. So I guess it would extrapolate from what the humans did.
Yeah, I suppose so. Why do I feel like this would have been happening like in Ready Player One?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like the company, I think it's IOI, would have been, training its bots and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were, right? They were trying to win the prize, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what was going on. Yeah. And the original was the players. I mean, there were NPCs and stuff that were created by the original creator of the Oasis with their ideology, but then the new company was trying to poison everybody, stop them from winning the prize so that they always had control of the Oasis and their little advertising thing. So SEMA isn't meant to be an AI-powered NPC like the ones from NVIDIA and Convi, but another player in the game that impacts the result. SEMA project co-lead Frederick Bessie, I think, or Bess, said it's too early to tell what kind of uses AI agents like it could bring to gaming outside of the research sphere. But for me, I don't always have time to get a group of people together to play a game, and if I want to play a game where it's typically a group of people, then I could always spin up an AI agent that is trained to my skill set. And so it would be like having a co-adventurer in my world that I could lean on to do party type of events that wouldn't be available for, my particular time frame. It's just the way it is. So I like the idea of it, but it definitely would have the ability, if you were to make it so that it learned from all of the humans that are playing the game, you would be able to make a better game playing AI all the time, because it would you just plop it into a group and everybody plays with this AI. Get that natural language going and you would never know. And then give it to me so I can let that bot sit in my meetings. Yeah. Nobody heard that, right? Okay. Let's keep going.
Well, hopefully none of the incorrect people heard that.
Yeah. So the next article is over in the Mobile channel. What kinds of seismic signals did Taylor Swift fans send at a Los Angeles concert? Seattle may have experienced its own Swiftquake last July, but at an August 2023 concert, Taylor Swift fans in Los Angeles gave scientists a lot of shaking to ponder. This is fascinating.
I can't even believe this is occurring.
So I've been in a massive stadium during a soccer game in Germany. And the entire stadium was basically bouncing because everybody was jumping in unison. And it was amazing. I had never experienced it like that here in the States, but maybe I've just been to the wrong stadium, and I was young when I went to stadiums here, but I don't recall it ever being like that. I've been to concerts and stuff where it's shaking the floors, but this was like multiples times what I've experienced. So after some debate, a research team led by Gabriel Tepp of Caltech concluded that it was likely the dancing and jumping motions of the audience at SoFi Stadium, not the musical beats or reverberations of the sound system, that generated the concert's distinct harmonic tremors. In their study in Seismological Research Letters, by the way, this article is from the Seismological Society of America, but obviously it's from a particular research team, Gabrielle Tepp. In their study, Seismological Research Letters, Tepp and colleagues show how they were able to identify the seismic signature of individual songs and determine the strength of each song's tremor. I love
That's
this.
really crazy.
Because
Do you think the highest tremor is like the most popular song, or
it's the one that makes you
imagine.
groove, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the tremors, the lines, if everybody is bouncing at the same time, it's going to create a bigger shock, right? So the seismograph needle is sitting there scribbling out the waves. And if you go and you get the track list, you know exactly when the music is transitioning over to the next song.
Right. You also could figure out where the music really gets ramped up in a given song. Right?
Yeah. You could not just the individual songs, but you would be able to track the song through the seismic activity. It says they even have a little bit of a data on how Swift's concert stacks up, seismically that is, against other summer of 2023 SoFi concerts, including Metallica, Beyonce, and Morgan Wallen. This is awesome. This would be so fun to actually, like, people who are fans of Metallica or Beyonce or Morgan Wallen or whoever has been at SoFi Stadium, if they're fans, they could get a poster of the seismic shock of the concert or their favorite song or whatever. Cool. Yeah, that would be so cool. I think
it's neat for the researchers. Like, this is something really different that they're getting to look at.
Yeah, hey, I need a grant to go to the Taylor Swift concert. It's going to be $10,000.
Exactly. You need to fund my bootleg tickets or whatever. It's a or surge pricing tickets.
It's a grant. It's okay. Yeah. Tepp's colleagues set up strong motion sensors at SoFi Stadium, analyzing data collected by those devices along with the data from nearby permanent regional seismic network stations. I used to hang out at a school that had a local seismograph, and I would just sit there and watch the needle. It had a sun tracker and other things too, and I would just sit there and watch it and be fascinated that there's a device somewhere else that was sending a signal to it, and you could see the needle. It was pretty cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah, I was young and it was a lot of fun. So each Swift song had a distinctive tremor signal. The researchers found for Swift's August 5th, 2023 concert, Tepp and colleagues were able to identify 43 of the 45 songs played within the recorded spectrograms. They also calculated the radiated energy of each song and interpreted the number in terms of the local magnitude of an earthquake that would have radiated the same energy. So the songs varied considerably in magnitude, with Shake It Off coming in as the largest local magnitude of 0.851. That's pretty funny. So pretty amazing. There's more to this article, but you kind of get the gist of it. It's a lot of fun. Go and read the rest if you're interested in it. But again, the article, the research paper is Gabrielle Tepp et al. Shake to the Beat, exploring the seismic signals and stadium response of concerts and music fans in Seismological Research Letters 2024. And they've got the DOI code. It's supposed to be a permanent reference to that journal, but
oh, okay.
Okay, so let's go on to the next article. That's actually fun. I really like that article. Okay, so the next one is over.
Metallica fans don't like it though, because she outperformed them for seismic activity.
Yeah. Well, not to belabor that, but Metallica has been around for a long time, so it's not like the people that are listening to Metallica en masse today are as boisterous as the ones that are. But I'm going to pick that fight to see if the next Metallica concert that actually ramps up, if they tour ever, I don't know if they tour, if they just get really hardcore, so that they can try and trump the Swifties, you know. We'll have a fight between pop and metal. All right. Yeah, so the next article is over in the Marble channel. Your favorite sci-fi movies come to life in these adorable epic paintings. Okay. And because I loaded this up, it's over at Gizmodo, but I loaded this up, and so I saw these. They're fun. Epic. I don't know. Hold on a second.
I can't quite picture what's ahead here.
Yeah, brace yourself. Last week, the author took off work to sit on a sidewalk for 3 days. Why would you do such a thing? Because it was the only way to have their first choice of new art from Scott Campbell. Campbell, who goes by Scott C, is a frequent presence on IO9, having debuted his incredible paintings for both Avenger Endgame and Spider-Man. The author is Jermaine Lucier, I think is how you pronounce it, over at gizmodo.com. The deck statement says, from Primer or Primer, however you want to say it, and Star Wars to Arrival and Batman, here are our favorite new Scott C. Great Showdowns. And so, doink, there's always a list of slides, and there's a bunch of them. So you got to see a little bit of what it looked like, right? So why is there this dead space here? I don't understand. There you go. So this is kind of what you're gonna bear witness to, I suppose. But let's do it. Which one do you think you want to go and look at?
Let's look at Lord of the Rings.
This one, Lord of the Rings. Oh, okay. There you go. I think I could probably just go like next slide. There you go. God, this is from Prey. There must be something in my system that causes this. So this is
the slides are moving is kind of.
So there you go. And this one is Everything Everywhere All at Once. There you go. Got the little hot dog fingers. Yeah, they don't really have anything.
Most elaborate.
Yeah, this one's pretty complex. I'll do a couple more. Nope.
So are these paintings like for sale, or they're just done to be done, or?
I don't know, but I thought it was interesting, so I included it. If you've never seen Nope, you really should go and see Nope. This makes zero sense to anybody until they see Nope. Like other things you could look at and it's kind of fascinating and neat, but that Nope one is really... So this is Spider-Man No Way Home. But I don't know who Scott C is, so this actually is going to make me go and look into it. But I thought that this was kind of cute.
Well, it said at the beginning of the article, I thought.
Did it though? Hold on.
I don't know if it got into a lot of detail.
Right. I think that I pretty much said what it said, right? Right. The show featured many of the paintings Campbell has done over the past several years, now finally available to purchase, as well as several new ones. So Scott Campbell goes by Scott C, is a frequent presence on IO9, having debuted his incredible paintings. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do some due diligence here and pull it up. But there you go. How about you become like a star in your own time because you make these little paintings that people are just enamored by, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that amazing? I love the idea
absolutely.
of something that to some people they're going to go, oh, this is just so simple, you know, anybody could do it. But they're the one that's doing it and people love it. So I dig this kind of thing. And to date, you know what? I'm not going to give it away. I've had something on the set for almost a year and nobody's noticed anything. So anyway, I'm gonna Now I gave it away.
That's
But
right.
it'll be the last time I say anything. Okay, we're going to keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. A quadrupedal robot can do parkour and walk across rubble. Honestly, I chose this because I wanted to see if this was really bragging rights. The robot known as Animal, has for some time had no problem coping with stony terrain of Swiss hiking trails. Now researchers at ETH Zurich have taught this quadrupedal robot some new skills. It's proving rather adept at parkour, a sport based on using athletic maneuvers to smoothly negotiate obstacles in an urban environment, which has become very popular. Animal, I have to say it like that because it's any and then animal, is also proficient at dealing with tricky terrain commonly found on building sites or in disaster areas. So this is Animal. Fabio Bergamin? Yeah, Bergamin. Fabio Bergamin from ETH Zurich put the article together, but it's posted at techexplore.com. And here's the quadrupedal robot Animal practicing parkour in a hall at ETH Zurich. So it looks like it just can hop from one thing to another and run down the stairs. Maybe it does it again. Maybe it jumps, etc., etc. But I just kind of find it interesting.
Oh,
This
there's a
could
video.
be the speed thing. So let's see what it actually does. I'm gonna hit play. You won't hear any audio. Oh gosh, wow.
Okay.
The way that it walks is okay. That's neat.
Basically nothing is an obstacle for it.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, this is like out of a sci-fi movie.
Oh yeah, this thing looks like it would scramble over anything, and it's creepy the way that it does it. Like it just recovers and keeps on wiggling its way up whatever. If you were to try and stop this thing from eating your face, it would find out a way to eat your face.
Yeah, like it has zero balance problems. It's on uneven terrain, up and down.
Oh yeah.
And it's quick.
And that was the thing that I was like, maybe it's about the speed. That was the first thing that I said. But it like scanned a gap and then it jumped. And then there was a kind of like a platform, and it crawled under it instead of over it. And then there was a big square container, and it just scrambled over it without any real resistance. It just found a way. But I think it's the way that its arms are geared. It has like a really high range joint. Not like the other quadrupedal bots, where it has a random, or not a random, but a standard range of motion, like an arm or a leg. This has this kind of the joint is offset. So instead of being like this, it's actually like that and has a bigger range of motion. Pretty interesting. So with its own parkour experience in mind, Rudin set out to further push the boundaries of what Animal could do, and he succeeded by using machine learning to teach the quadrupedal robot new skills. Animal is now able to scale obstacles and perform dynamic maneuvers to jump back down from them. In the process, Animal learned like a child would through trial and error. Now, when presented with an obstacle, Animal uses its camera and artificial neural network to determine what kind of impediment it's dealing with. Then it performs movements that seem likely to succeed based on its previous training. So it's learning. It's literally learning, just like a human would. Oh,
this
humans!
equal parts exciting and equal parts terrifying.
Yeah. Again, give this to that Figure One bot, and it would be, Terminator Hunter Killer. That's what it was. It was a hunter-killer bot. All right, let's keep going, though. The next article, did I throw this? Yeah, I did. Okay. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Microsoft's AI Copilot for security launches next month with pay-as-you-go pricing because, of course, you don't want to have your computers protected because of the flaws that are inherent in the code. No. Microsoft is launching its Copilot for security next month, bringing its generative AI chatbot to the cybersecurity space. Yeah, I've got some phone calls to make. Copilot for security is designed for cybersecurity professionals to help them protect against threats, but it won't be a one-off monthly charge like Copilot for Microsoft 365. Instead, Microsoft will charge businesses $4 per hour of usage as part of a consumption model when Copilot for security launches on April 1st. And I suppose this isn't an April Fool's Day kind of a thing. $4
No,
per
I don't
hour.
think so.
And look what it's powered by. Powered by OpenAI's GPT-4.
Aw.
The
I mean, isn't everything?
pretty much. And Microsoft's a major investor, so like $13 billion or something like that is put into it. Is that what it was? What was the number? It was just a tremendous amount of money. And Microsoft's own security-specific model, Copilot for Security, is essentially a chatbot where cybersecurity workers, I don't like that term, cybersecurity analysts, can
There you
get,
go.
or technicians, engineers, but not workers. I don't know. That's cybersecurity professionals are skilled labor. I mean, they are, the amount of knowledge and awareness is pretty sublime, and that was such a diminishing. Anyway, can get the latest information, and I think that applies for anybody really. Just call me a worker. Anyway, can get the latest information on security incidents and summaries and provide that information. I don't know if it straight out of the gate is going to have the ability to actually perform cybersecurity actions, but that's what ADS and other tools. Anyway, I don't want to get too into the weeds about that. Tom Warren over at The Verge put the article together. The deck statement says Copilot for Security is an AI-powered chatbot for cybersecurity professionals, which I hope that it doesn't hallucinate, because you may do something that the chatbot says to do, and it's the wrong damn thing to do.
Uh-oh, yeah,
Plain
I
and
mean, that
simple.
could be another layer of problems.
Yep. Powered by OpenAI's GPT-4 and Microsoft's own security specific model. Microsoft first started testing this chatbot nearly a year ago, and it includes access to the latest information on security threats and Microsoft's 78 trillion daily signals that the company collects through its threat intelligence gathering. By the way, hundreds of data points of telemetry exfiltrate from your personal systems all the time, and you can't do a damn thing about it unless you set up a third-party firewall and or have a hardware firewall on your perimeter blocking telemetry exfiltration. The only one that can actually control that is the academic version of Windows. And that's because of rules and regulations like FERPA. So Copilot for Security includes a pinboard section for collaboration between cybersecurity employees and the ability to summarize events for reporting purposes like many other AI chatbots. You can use natural language inputs, feed in files for analysis, or even get Copilot for Security to analyze code. Wow. I suppose
This is
it's
getting
for...
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have an interesting conversation on Friday. So pay-as-you-go pricing is designed to allow businesses to scale what they need for AI-powered cybersecurity efforts. We will see, but the interesting thing about that is, if it's $4, what was the amount? $4 per hour. So you have to rely on this thing being speedy. So what if they sandbag it? It's not
What do you
as
mean?
responsive because it's more profitable to be slow. but just slow enough to
Oh,
be
right. I see.
profitable, not annoying as hell. Microsoft's push for AI and cybersecurity comes as the company is under attack from Russia and state-sponsored hackers. Nobelium, the same group behind the SolarWinds attack, managed to spy on some executive email inboxes for months. That initial attack also led to some of Microsoft's source code being stolen and the hackers getting access to the company's source code repositories and internal systems. So I'm sure everything is fine, everybody. Sure, go to sleep. Somebody else's problem. Don't worry.
That's all right. Don't worry about any of this stuff.
Shh. All your systems are safe with Microsoft. The next article is over in Late Night Geeks. It's the last one for tonight. Orbio Earth finds methane leaks that could cost oil companies $9 billion this year. So all I did was grab this based on that title because I was really curious about what the context is, because we know that we launched satellites. Google launched satellites to track leaks.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was related to this or not.
It does not ring a bell, but I wanted to find out. And since we don't read the articles in total before the show, we do it live so that you can get our reaction and our response. This has nothing to do with it, I'm sure. Investors bet the startup's algorithms, which feed on satellite data, will fill a significant gap in the methane market. So if this is anything to go off of, let's find out. So Tim Deschamps over at TechCrunch.com put the article together, and so when there's then there's methane, which has driven about 30% of climate change, according to IEA. It's a big enough threat to the U.S. government is going to fine polluters $900 for every metric ton that they release this year. By 2026, it'll be $1,500 per metric ton. That's interesting that Google launched that tracker. So methane, which is the main component of natural gas, is a potent greenhouse gas that causes 83 times more warming than one molecule of carbon dioxide. Leaks are one of the main sources, both from aging natural gas infrastructure and oil and gas fields. So all of Wyoming, I guess. But tracing leaks of the odorless, colorless gas has been challenging. Reporters have been able to trace more than 1,000 so-called super emitters, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Oh my God, really? This is what happens when you...
melting.
Yeah, this is what happens when you build a news aggregator to manage your information overload and you look past the first layer of the onion. Yeah, this is really bad. The U.S. alone has more than 4 million active and inactive oil and gas wells, any number of which might be leaking as you read this. That's a little FUD, but that's okay. Yeah, if you're not familiar with the acronym.
There is a lot of that in the news. I mean, because of some of the news that's coming out, particularly related to the Earth.
Yeah. Orbio's pitch is that it'll be cheaper to pay the startup to find those leaks so oil companies can lock them down. It's a business model that has drawn investor attention too. But they're solving the problem. So how this is like a one and done project. While there might be thousands of them, they're not all going to pay, but Orbio's going to find them and then send a little nastygram saying, hey, we found it, but we're not going to tell you until you pay us. Orbio has raised a $4 million seed round from the European Space Agency, initialized capital, and Y Combinator. Y Combinator is one of the original startup incubators.
Hey, who is that tied to? Isn't it tied to somebody?
OpenAI?
Very famous. Oh, maybe so.
Yeah, it's the CEO of OpenAI.
Okay.
What's his name? I forgot his name just now.
Sam Altman, I think.
Sam Altman. Yep, thank you. There are two basic approaches to measuring methane emissions: bottom up, top down. Bottom up approach would probably require sensors installed at key points in oil and gas infrastructure. Top down approach would use one or a handful of sensors that can oversee broad swaths of the planet. So a satellite. Yeah. Pretty brilliant, actually. And I know that Google sent one up, so I don't know if they're going to actually mention this. By the way, a lot of the stuff from TechCrunch, and in particular, lately, it seems to be a lot of news that also has to do with like a business. It's almost like kind of hyping up a business.
Oh, yeah, it's almost like I forgot. There was another source that's like that, but now it's escaping me.
Yeah, it's okay. So, oh, there it is. Until last week's successful launch of MethaneSat, no satellite specialized in the detection of methane. In fact, until just a few years ago, experts thought that more general purpose remote sensing satellites like Sentinel-2 wouldn't be able to pull enough signal from the noise to find methane leaks. That's because methane in water, including cloud cover, can be hard to distinguish. And so to make the distinction, Orbio watches the entire Earth's surface looking for anomalies over time. When one pops up, it determines whether the anomaly is likely a methane release, and if it is, whether an oil or gas facility is the source. So Orbio delivers emissions data to end users within 48 hours, often less. The startup
I
process
just
is
figured out what the weather balloons were doing.
methane.
Yes.
Sure.
Hunting for it.
Hunting for, yeah, okay. That's why the cows are being teleported away. But we have researchers that are trying to solve that problem too. The startup processes 10 to 20 terabytes of data daily. Yeah, that would violate my ISP's data rates quite a bit. Anyway, follow the link. Dun, dun, dun. It is not yet in the chat, but it will be. There you go. Follow that link and you'll be able to read more about Orbio Earth. Oh my god.
Well, I suspect we're going to see more in this space. It seems to be a high interest area from some of the recent articles.
Yeah, I think so too. And once it's up there and surveilling the area, artificial intelligence, data processing like that, you'll be able to get greater and greater fidelity. They'll be able to solve these problems and maybe solve climate change related issues, because it isn't everyday Joes that are spewing 83 times more. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's industry. It's not just regular Joes mowing the lawn.
Everybody should cut down on their emissions, but the largest sources are clearly big companies.
Yeah. I just don't like everyday Joes being told, "Oh, you're the one that's destroying the planet." No,
not really. And if you're looking at your footprint and you're kind of going, what am I doing? I'm running my appliance or whatever in the house. Like, it's hard to figure out why you're doing something so wrong, and that's part of why the disparity.
Yep. All right, folks. Well, that's it for today's show. We always jump back into the party bus and drive down ohmTown's Main Street, and I'd click that, but I'm so afraid of the news lately at the beginning and end, because I tried to promote another show and quarter in the machine. Anyway, thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoy the show. Please follow us over on twitch.tv/ohmTown. Please like us over on YouTube, and then go over to the podcast place wherever you catch pods. Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts. I keep saying iTunes for whatever reason, but Apple Podcasts is where all of our podcasts are in podcast form. So grab your podcatcher and download the pod. But then like the show, give it a 5-star review. Even if you don't want to say anything, give it a 5-star review. But if you do a 5-star review, I will say whatever it is you leave in the 5-star review. Ta-da! And if you just do a search,
you can refresh if you want.
You know, AI, you're supposed to keep me at oh no. Just kidding.
I thought, what article snuck in there right after I looked at them?
There's always one, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So be sure to download the podcast. Just do a search for ohmTown, and you will pull up all 3 of the shows that are currently there. This weekend there will be 5 total. And then 2 weeks from then, you'll have 2 more shows going live. Dun, dun, dun. This is going to be not in a podcast, but over on YouTube. All of the shows will be live. And these next 2 are expanding what we talk about, because that was one of the objectives. See, I have a lot of interests, and they change from time to time. And so right now these have been kind of steady state because I've been aggregating news of pretty big gamut and dropping them in certain areas. So go over to ohmTown.com, check it out. All news, no noise. There's some people that are talking throughout the articles, but it isn't a lot of like user created stuff. And it avoids the overabundance of user created content. And so we just have good conversation in there from time to time. There's also a Discord, Patreon, TikTok. We're everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, there's a mic right here, by the way. Just so.
You can just leave that unstated.
Oh, okay. I won't finish my thought. All right, folks. Thank you very much for coming. See you tomorrow. I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com. And as always, the AI that's keeping me safe. You want to say bye, AI from on high?
Aye. Good night, ohmTown citizens. We will see you tomorrow at approximately 8 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned.
I have to flip my camera so when I'm looking at that monitor, it looks like I'm looking at the channel. But all right,
that would be good, because otherwise you're looking off.
I'm
off
wistfully looking towards the past. Oh, I remember this show being so great. We should rewind, do it all over. All right, I'm leaving. See y'all. I miss you all already. Bye.